So, Matt, because you support Newcastle, let's start off with them at the weekend. How did they get on?
Lost 1-0 to City. You know what? I was kind of thinking it might be quite an end-to-end game. But actually, it was probably far from it. It was quite a passive sort of game. I think there was only a couple of real clear-cut opportunities, and unfortunately, one of them was taken by Alvarez. I think it was a good finish, top left-hand corner. I was a bit disappointed. Defensively, I thought we were great. We shut up Haaland. I thought Foden had a good game, though. I think he needs to step up and sort of take over the ball in a hole that's going to be left. But I was disappointed with, I think, how limited we looked going forward, considering how good we looked the week before, scoring 5 against Villa. I know it's against City, and I know it's obviously a completely different beast, but I was a bit disappointed with how little we offered going forward. I mean, we had a couple half chances, but there wasn't anything really, I think, there to shout about, to be honest.
No, I mean, Alvarez's goal was quality. Yeah. Great finish. And I've put on my notes, I think Bruno should have been sent off for his tackle on Foden. What do you think about that?
I think it's a yellow. I think if he goes in with it any more force, I think it could have been a red. But I don't think there was their intent to really sort of follow through in the tackles. I think it was the right decision. But then again, if you see McAllister's red card from the weekend, you're probably thinking, well, if that's a red, that's got to be a red as well. But I think it was just enough to get away with it. I don't think there was enough intent in there, if I'm going to be honest.
Mm. And what about Khan's a Chelsea fan? You've just signed a player from Chelsea, haven't you?
Yeah, Lewis Hall. I don't know a great deal about him. I just know he's 18. I think his parents are originally from Newcastle, and they're Newcastle fans. So I don't know a massive great deal about him. I know obviously he's a left back. I know what I've seen on Twitter, a lot of Chelsea fans are quite disappointed to see him go. I think there were quite a few high hopes about him. So, and obviously we do need a left back because we can't keep getting away with playing Dan Burn at left back.
No.
I will say a lot of the fans wanted Hall to be in the first team this season over Cucurella. Yeah. They wanted Chilwell and Hall as our left back options. But no, you've got a great player. Yeah. Really good player. As I say, young, 18. He's actually not a left back. That's the thing. He's actually a centre mid, but he's so versatile. He can fill in a left back.
That's where Trent started off, didn't he? He was a centre mid.
Or Zinchenko sort of inverted left back.
Yeah, so I think it's that sort of having that versatility now in this day and age, because I think most managers now, you don't really want to be pigeonholed as sort of a one-dimensional player, do you? Not like in the old days. The game's changed, isn't it?
You've certainly got a good player there, though. Definitely got a good player. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a loan, it's a loan, isn't it, rather than a buy?
Yeah, no, it's a loan, but it's an obligation to buy. So we will buy him, but I think the way it was to get round FFP, we didn't have enough. We weren't able to spend any more under the FFP regulations. So we've done it as a loan up front. Then it's an obligation to buy. So I think it's 28 million. Then I think then the add-ons will be 7. So I think it's 35 million it will come to.
It's quite a lot for an 18-year-old, not really proven in the Premier League, isn't it?
Yeah, but I guess that's what you get. You're buying from another English Premier League team, and then also he's English himself. I think there's that extra tax on it, isn't it, that comes with it. But I think what Eddie Howe has proven is that every player that he's taken so far, whether they were at Newcastle before he come in or the players that he's got on board, he's improved all of them. So I think he'll back himself to improve forward and sort of take him on to that next level.
Yeah, and to be honest, he might have gone under the radar from fans from other teams, but he actually did play some Premier League games for us last season.
Oh, did he?
Not saying much because
he actually played against us. Didn't he make his first start of the season against us?
Might have been. I'm not
sure.
When
it was the last game before we broke off the World Cup.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
So I remember Willett scoring a goal.
But
in that one,
we had a bad season, but at times he was the best player on our team when he was playing. Yeah.
High expectations, then.
Yeah, because he would have been maybe 17, 18, just turning into 18 at the time, and he's playing with these professionals, Premier League, and he was the best player. Sometimes, I mean, I think he got man of the match one or two times.
Be interesting to see. So when he comes in, he'll be at left back then, I presume. What happens with Dan Burn?
I still think Dan Burn will play. And I think he'll still play most games at left back. But obviously, with the Champions League, I think Lewis Hall probably will be. I think we'll play a lot more than what people were expecting because we have still got Matt Target, but everybody's kind of forgotten about him. I think when we signed Matt Target, I think everybody thought he is going to be the next sort of like left back to go on for next season, to finish in the top half or top 8, but actually we've exceeded them expectations now. So I think kind of the team already quickly quite quickly outgrown him, to be honest. And he was probably potentially a little bit unlucky because he got injured, and Dan Burn coming in actually did a good job. But I can see Lewis Hall probably playing a lot of games because, like I said, Dan Burn's not a natural left back, and we have been getting away with that now. So I think it took the teams half a season to actually really start targeting Dan Burn. I think it feels if we got away with it, teams didn't really go after him because, let's be honest, you don't really see too many 6'7" centre backs, do you?
No, and they're not
in this day and age of football.
If you're that tall, you're not normally fast either, are you? So should be able to get. If you've got a fast striker, just put him on him.
Yeah, I think he's beginning to get found out now as well, and also obviously we're now trying to play out from the back. He's very limited as well. He's sort of like your old school sort.
He's the one with the finger missing, isn't he?
Yeah.
What's the story behind that? Do you know or not?
I think he had a ring on his finger, and I think he got it caught. So obviously they had to take off. So he's got like a stub.
Yeah.
I think so I think he got a ring caught on something.
Mm.
So going back just to what you mentioned about when you're talking about Newcastle spending, being in line with FFP. Against City, you lost 1-0. And from your comments there, you're not too happy with that result. You thought you could have got something out of it then? Maybe a draw at least?
Yeah, I mean...
Going into the game,
I was confident because I think if you ask anyone when's the perfect time to play City, it'd be early on the season. Obviously, they'd just gone and played Sevilla on the Wednesday or Thursday night in the Super Cup. And obviously that's gone to penalties. So that's obviously a big take. They've just lost De Bruyne, who is out for 4 months now. So I just thought, if there's a good time to play City, it's going to play him now. And I thought we might get a point, but...
1-0's not a bad result. Is that their place, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's not, if it was at your place, you probably would have got the result. Your fans would have got you through it. But 1-0 away to City, I don't think that's a bad result for anyone.
No, but then I guess it just goes how far that we've come. Because
exactly.
If we would have walked over 1-0 defeat, a couple of years ago, then... I'll be thinking we've walked away with a 4-0 win.
So, go on, mate. Oh. So based on that then, where would you say your expectations are for Newcastle this season if you're not too happy losing to City 1-0?
Right. At the beginning of the season, I would have been happy with a top 6 finish. But I know it's still really early days, but looking around all the other teams that I thought might be in that top 4 race, I thought Chelsea would be a lot better. I thought United would still be there.
Same.
Actually, they haven't looked great, especially like United.
I thought I've got United as finishing third, but that's looking very unlikely.
Yeah, I know it's still early days. Obviously, Liverpool, still not too sure with Liverpool. They still need to reinforce that midfield, and I still think they need another centre back because at the back they're still quite shaky. It's not the Van Dijk of 2-3 years ago that was holding that back line together.
Literally, it's been since Pickford injured him. He has not been that.
Yeah,
so player, is he?
I think we'll finish 5th. That's me trying to be realistic. But
why? Name 4 teams that you think will be better than you this season.
I still think that when the Champions League hits, I still think it will be our squad depth that will get found out.
It's got a point. Because Newcastle, without the Champions League, I would have put them in the top 4.
But have Arsenal got great squad strength? I would say no.
Better now than what it was last
year.
year.
It's better, but it's still not Champions League, Premier League ready. I don't think our squad.
Yeah, but I think...
So who do you think the top 4 will be then if you're finishing 5th? City,
Arsenal.
Probably Liverpool.
I will probably go... I probably think Liverpool will get in there. I think they'll make the signings and... I think they'll get it right and edge it this year because I think their firepower's up top.
Yeah.
I think that will get them through. And... I don't know. Maybe I'm trying not to jinx us, say, I'll throw us in the top 4 because it won't happen. But at the moment, I guess on paper, I would say we would finish.
Yeah.
We should finish 4th. Looking at the other teams.
What have Brighton got?
I was about
European-wise.
Well, they're going to be in the Europa League, so they're going to be playing on the Thursdays, aren't they? So I don't know. That's normally harder, isn't it? Playing on the Thursdays and then playing on the Sundays. And I don't know how much depth Brighton. I can't imagine they've got. They've got loads of depth, but. I guess you can't rule... Well, they're top of the league at the moment, so you can't rule them out.
Going back to Newcastle, with the players that you've signed since the ownership, if you can just go through some of them and what you think about them.
Yeah, Trippier... I mean, actually, I always thought Trippier was a good footballer, but I don't think I actually realised how good he was...
Didn't appreciate him.
Until he signed for us. And I'd always be appreciative of Trippier because he was the first one through the door. Yeah. So, he's just come from Atletico Madrid, who were playing Champions League football, and the season before they've just won... they've just won the La Liga, and obviously everybody's going, he's come for the money. But what people don't realise is he took a pay cut.
Right.
So it wasn't for the money. I mean, Dan Burn, I think at the time, I think he was perfect what we needed. He knows the Premier League. He's going to come in. You knew he was going to come in and do the job. So, and obviously that's when he came in. He was playing at centre-back. Chris Wood, that's probably the only dud that we have signed. And again, we signed him. It weakened Burnley, who was one of our rivals as well. And, you know, I guess he filled a hole whilst Wilson was injured. So I guess he did what we were looking for. And then obviously we've somehow then sold him off for 15 million. So we've managed to recoup quite a bit of that as well.
Yeah.
Well, Bruno, well, I don't know where to start with Bruno, to be honest. He is sort of still early days, but I can't think if we've ever had a better centre mid than Bruno in my lifetime, from what I've seen.
He's
Gaza.
Not in my lifetime, no. So unfortunately, I didn't get to witness Gaza. I mean, probably like when we were also getting Champions League football. I mean, I said midfielder being, was it young Jermaine Genius when he was good, Gary Speed.
Yeah.
Bruno.
Totally different player though, Bruno.
Yeah.
And I was gutted when you got in because we were another player, Arsenal heavily linked with. We were even in his video.
Do you reckon if you would have signed him that January, do you reckon that would have tipped over the edge and you got Champions League football that season?
No, I think it was a striker that we needed. We didn't need that. We had Odegaard in his position that, in my opinion, is better than him at the moment. I'd say definitely he offers more. But Bruno is a great player. But I would say Odegaard is better.
But I still think my favourite sign, I think a lot of people would say, it would be probably Bruno, or would it be Isak, who does look like he could go on.
Really good, doesn't he?
I still think the best signing we've made is Botman. I still don't think enough.
Where did you get him from and how much?
I think we got him for 35 million, and that was from Lille. So, and I don't think it gets spoken about enough how actually good Botman is. I mean,
he's in my dream team. He's brilliant.
I mean, he come in and in one season we've got the best defensive record in the Premier League, and you know, and when you've got Trippier, Shaw, Botman, Dan Burn as a back four, you don't look at it and scream, that's going to have the means defence in the Premier League. But I think how we've transformed and defensively solid, I think Botman's been the biggest, and he's 23 as well, so it's only going to get better. And I was absolutely baffled how we didn't get called up to the World Cup.
And Pope behind him as well.
Pope. Yeah, I think a lot gets made out about how good he is with his feet, and obviously that stops him from going on to the next level. But I'm quite old school. I just want my keeper
stop the ball going in the net.
Stop the ball going in the net. And like I said, and then what Eddie Howe's good is he doesn't force Pope to play out from the back.
No.
You know, he knows his abilities, his limitations. So if it needs to go long, do it. It's going on. And we've always got willing runners up there who will chase after it. But and then obviously early doors, Tonali. First game looked.
He scored, didn't he?
Yeah, scored within 7 minutes. Yeah, so obviously he looked a class apart. He got man of the match. So
is he the one who went to Wetherspoons? Who went to Wetherspoons?
Yeah, he went to Wetherspoons. Yeah, and he booked a table.
Yeah, but that's because his teammates recommended Wetherspoons. He asked for a nice restaurant and they recommended booking Wetherspoons, and he done it, didn't he? Have you not seen that?
Yeah, I've seen a picture, but I didn't know the story behind it.
So his first game, he looked good. Obviously, City. I mean, that's his hard second game to come into.
Yeah.
I mean, the jury's still out. Obviously, there is that sort of that question mark over how Italian players do in the Premier League. Because I can't think of the last time an Italian come over into the Premier League and actually.
We've had this conversation on our podcast before that there's very little Italians that have ever come to the Prem. You try and name me 7 Italian players now. You wouldn't be able to.
First on the top of my head that I would say that come here and succeeded would have been Zola.
Zola, Vialli as well.
Vialli, yeah.
Jorginho.
Yeah, Jorginho. He's Brazilian.
Goalkeeper is Manoni. Is Cudicini
Cudicini's Italian.
Italian.
There's another winger, isn't there? I can't remember who it is.
Didn't you have a couple at Chelsea at the same time? Jorginho and someone else?
Oh, is it Emerson?
Yeah, Emerson Palmieri,
Yeah.
He's a left back.
But there's not many, is there?
No.
I can't think.
Balotelli.
I mean, you've had a few that have come over with a big height. You had, I think the last big one that come over who had a real big height from centre mid was the Aquilani.
Oh, yeah, Liverpool.
Who went to Liverpool and he completely... So obviously I think there's that there's that stigma around Italian players that the way they play, especially centre mids, that they're not going to get into the grips, into the pace of the Premier League. So obviously the jury's still out. But from what I've seen in pre-season, it looks like I think you'll be all right.
What are you expecting from Newcastle in the next, say, 5 years? Are you thinking win the league in maybe 5 years' time? Because you've overachieved already. So
if I'm going to be honest, it all depends if Pep's still there in 5 years' time.
Yeah, I don't think he will be.
No, he won't be.
So, I mean...
Can't wait.
Yeah, so I guess so, yeah. I guess in 5 years' time, obviously, I like to think where we are now, if we keep on that trajectory, then I guess automatically you've got to be thinking that we've got to be competing for...
Do you think you'll get to that point where, because you've got the money, you will start spending stupid money on players like the PSG and the Man Cities? Well, Man City haven't been too bad, but...
No.
Tonali weren't cheap though, was he?
How much was he?
55 million. But then when you see Caicedo's going for 100 plus, Rice going for 100 plus, I mean...
This was going to be one of my topics, overpriced players.
Yeah, I mean, so... And like I said, we signed Bruno for 35 and Tonali for 50, so we signed them two for under 100 million.
Yeah.
But then again, I think there's a different price when you're signing players from another Premier League club, isn't it?
Yeah. So when you just mentioned Declan Rice and Caicedo, when you look at them two, do you not think Declan Rice is worth 100 mil in today's market? Bearing in mind he's English, never injured, got a good attitude. I feel he is worth 100 in today's market.
It depends if you've got the money to spend as well. Like if you're just going out and just signing Declan Rice.
Okay, if Newcastle signed him for 100 million, would you be happy or would you be like, we've overpaid there?
As in right now?
Right now.
I think we'd overpaid. I don't think we're at that stage yet where we can be handing out.
No, but if you was in a position and you paid 100 mil, I think it's an alright price. Compared to Caicedo from Brighton.
Yeah, I guess so, because you've got to add that tax on because he's English, isn't he?
Yeah.
So he's going to be more expensive. So, I mean, the Caicedo, I can't even justify that price tag.
Because they bought him for 4.5 million a year and a half before.
Swiftly moving on.
110 million profit in a year and a half. That's crazy, isn't it?
And they're still top of the league.
Yeah, right, yeah. They've taken 200 million off you, haven't they?
Yeah.
In managers and players.
They've robbed us.
Right, so moving on now. Friday night football was Forest versus Sheffield United. It was, wasn't it? It was Friday night, yeah. That Oweniyi scored again, the one I couldn't say last week and I still can't say. Great header. Did you see that?
No.
You didn't see it? Okay. Forest should have had a penalty, a foul on Aurier.
I must admit, I
didn't watch it?
No, I mean, I can't think.
So Aurier runs in the box and the player literally takes him out from behind. It's a clear penalty and it wasn't given. I was quite surprised at that.
That doesn't sound... Well, it sounds just like Aurier, doesn't it?
Well?
It sounds just like Aurier, doesn't it?
Yeah, but Aurier got fouled. He should have got the penalty. I'm just getting the result up. What was the final result in that game?
It was 2-1 Forest. Oh, actually, I remember seeing it because Chris Wood scored the winner, didn't he?
Chris Wood did another great header.
Yeah.
It was a great header.
That doesn't surprise me. I don't think I've ever seen him score with his feet unless it's from the penalty spot.
No, me neither.
And then, so Saturday football, Liverpool versus Bournemouth.
Again, I guess it's the same story with Liverpool. They look great going forwards, but they still look susceptible at the back, don't they?
They look all over the place defensively.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Yeah. So, but then you can't rule them out because on their day they can turn up and score 2, 3, 4 in a blink of an eye as well. If they're on it, they are still such a dangerous side. But be interesting to see how good this Endo is, the Japanese lad. Be interesting to see how good he is if he comes in. Because obviously,
where's he come from?
Bundesliga, yeah.
Bundesliga. He's only been there He's only been there for 3 years, and I think that was his first big move to European football. So,
a very harsh penalty was given to Liverpool. I'm trying to remember what it was. I wrote it on my notes. They got given a penalty. I'm trying to think what happened there.
I didn't see that.
Did you not watch match
today? I saw the score, and I picked up this must have missed the penalty part, yeah.
I put Bournemouth looked very good going forward. McAllister, red card. Harsh, but probably correct decision I've got written down.
So it's been overturned.
Sorry?
I'm pretty sure it's been overturned now.
Has it?
Yeah, the suspension, I think it's been overturned just now.
I don't see how you can give it as a red. I mean, yeah, he's He started, but he's gone. Like I said with the Bruno one, there's no real intent there to hurt anyone. He's not gone in with any force. I think it's soft. I mean, if you saw that on a Sunday, you'll probably get a little talking to, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, yeah. Wolves versus Brighton, 4-1 to Brighton. They're looking very good.
Yeah,
I like Brighton.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't had a test yet, but from who they've played, they've done the business, and I think Matoma is.
How good is he?
Again, how much did they sign him for?
Not a lot.
It was about 1-2 million.
Really?
Something ridiculous. Yeah, hardly signed him for anything. So you can only imagine he'll have another good season. Then, Chelsea will probably sign him for 140 million.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
That's probably the way it'd be. But you can see him being.
I can't see him being there too long. Like he might be there for another year, possibly. Yeah. He's just so good.
I think the other one as well, the Estepinian as well.
Yeah.
Back. But I don't know where they get them all from. I mean, their scouting network must be absolutely.
Well, that's the thing, right? Their scouting network left with Graham Potter and joined Chelsea. And they're still there now.
Well, we've got their old technical director, haven't we, Dan Ashworth now. So
it's been raided.
Yeah.
And they're still
but it must be the owners.
Yeah.
Like they must obviously know what they're doing. It just goes to show that you don't need to spend all this. If you go out and do your research, go out and do your scouting, there are still them gems out there which you can. But it feels as if because there's all that money around now, teams are just so quick to flash.
Yeah.
It's almost like they let the teams like Brighton go out and do that work. And then once they've got them in, they've seen them in the Premier League, and they've went, all right, we'll take them.
It's like they're loaning them without officially loaning them.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you go and find them, have them for a year, we'll come and get them after.
Yeah.
You do the hard work. That result as well, 4-1 to Brighton, shows how weird football can be because Wolves played really well against United. Was lucky to lose 1-0, should have had a penalty. And then they go and, at home, get smashed by Brighton.
But on the flip side of that, after watching United play Spurs, is it more the fact that how poor United look rather than actually how good Wolves look that day as well?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, United don't look great today. That's really worrying if you're a United fan, in my opinion.
What's going wrong at United?
I think they signed another 10 in Mason Mount, where they've already got Bruno, so they didn't actually need another 10. They should have gone out and signed an actual sort of your box-to-box midfielder, and your all-round midfielder. You've got Casemiro's got a hole, but I think you need someone in there that's got energy, that's got legs. I mean, Mount's got energy and legs, but I mean,
it's more offensive than defensive.
Yeah, it's more offensive, isn't he? So I think that's where they've gone wrong. I mean, there's no harm in signing Mason Mount for depth, but they need to sign someone as well. Yeah. I feel as if they thought signing Mason Mount was going to just solve the problems in there. Obviously, that Højlund's, obviously I don't know too much about him, but he's injured. I think then that's obviously forced them to play Rashford through the middle at the moment, where obviously we all know he's more effective off the left-hand side. I mean, Anthony, I don't know, look at their team now. I think they must have overachieved last year to finish third.
Yeah, definitely.
The problem they've got at the moment in their midfield, like you were saying about Fernandes Mount, is they're too offensive. So what they're doing is they're pushing too far up high at the pitch, leaving Casemiro exposed.
Let's be honest, how old is he?
30, 31.
He's got to be leggy now. He's not going to be running around that pitch like he was.
I mean, that's why I say you need someone alongside him because regardless of how leggy, he can still read the game. He'll still be able to break up play and stuff, but you can't expect him to sit in that midfield by himself.
No. Whilst we're talking about Casemiro, I was having, not an argument, I suppose a debate. Now, Partey or Casemiro?
Partey's a right back now, isn't he?
No, before he started playing him right back for the last 2 weeks.
I mean,
who would you take now? Not on their career, because that would clearly be Casemiro.
Yeah, I think you'd take Partey, wouldn't you?
I think so. I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But then I don't want people just thinking I'm being biased, because...
I think personally for the Premier League, I would take Partey. Yeah.
Carl?
Yeah, probably the same, yeah. But
I think so.
To be honest, I think an element of that is down to the team that Casemiro is playing in. Possibly. If he was playing for Arsenal, we'd probably say him over Partey, I reckon.
Yeah, imagine them two together.
Yeah, well, I think that's what Casemiro needs alongside him, like a Partey, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't know if United are going back in for another midfielder. I haven't heard anything. Them going back.
All I've heard about United today is Martial might be going to Saudi Arabia.
Okay, well,
That's the only thing I've seen on United today.
I'm surprised he's still there.
Ten Hag, he seems to be happy with the way United have been playing, though. That's what he's saying in his interviews. He's completely happy with his midfield, the way it's playing. That's not the problem. He's blaming the defence.
But is he saying that in interviews only, just to the cameras?
Yeah, but he's putting the blame on the defence at the same time by saying it.
Yeah. What do you think about Onana?
I think
he's not looked amazing, has he?
No, I think the jury's still out. I guess it's only been 2 games.
Yeah.
Obviously, got away with the penalty, didn't he, on the opening day of the weekend?
Got lobbed pre-season.
Yeah, got lobbed pre-season. But I guess the jury's still out on him. I think. I haven't seen enough of him yet to really make sort of like a judgment call on that.
So what about their game against Tottenham then? They obviously lost 2-0 away to Spurs.
Yeah.
Was that expected? I don't think it was. I don't think Tottenham fans would have expected that.
No, that was not expected, but happy it happened, to be honest with you. Like seeing Spurs, I don't like Spurs, but seeing them lose their captain, their main man, Harry Kane, and then the whole team really pulling together, rallying together to get a win like that, 2-0 win.
Credit to Spurs there, to be fair. I mean, I was quite surprised. Hate seeing it personally, but they deserved it. But again, I've wrote this on quite a lot of games over the weekend. United looked very poor defending.
Yeah.
And there's so many teams that you could say that about this weekend.
That's something you could add to Onana's case, though, as well. Like, I think there was a statistic I read from the game just gone. That's the most shots United have conceded in a Premier or in a league game in like 20 odd years.
Really?
Yeah. And
that
keeper's
just
got to
shows
deal
how
with
they're
that.
all over the place.
Yeah.
We spoke about City, Newcastle, Fulham versus Brentford. Poor defending by Fulham for Brentford's goal. Literally passed it to him. He went through and scored. Very soft penalty given against Fulham, followed by a second yellow. That was another second yellow. I'm trying to think what that was. The thing is, I watch these games and I forget what bloody happened in them.
Can't remember myself, I'll be honest with you.
Mitrovic has gone to Al Hilal.
Yeah.
He forced that move, didn't he?
Yeah, they've come out and said that, haven't they? Which I think Fulham fans, obviously, was a bit of a hero, wasn't he, at Fulham?
They loved him. My Fulham mates loved him.
Yeah, and obviously he sort of just... But then that's money, isn't it? Money talks, doesn't it? But on Brentford, I think Thomas Frank doesn't get enough credit for the job that he does.
I love him. Honestly, he's going to end up at a massive club in the next couple of years.
I can't even think if they signed anyone this summer.
And Tony's gone.
Tony's gone.
Well, not gone, but...
Yeah, I mean, Mbeumo's stepped up. He's got 3
We've
and 2.
just bought Raya.
Yeah. He's got 3 and 2 in Mbeumo, so he's stepped up in. So, I can't think of anything too negative you can say. Because on the first game of the season, they drew Spurs 2-2. You look at the Spurs result against United. Now, in context and things, you think that's a bloody good result for Brentford, getting a 2-2 against Spurs.
Yeah.
I think Brentford could be one of them dark horses who...
Well, 3-0 win against Fulham away is a good result.
Yeah.
I think.
Their keeper they've got is a new signing. They brought in this year to replace Raya.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like with Brentford, like all the signings they make, none of them are names you've heard of, but he seems to get the best out of them, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I tell you what, the big one, who I do like from Brentford, who I don't think gets enough plaudits, and I don't get why his name's not around the England squad, is Rico Henry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He is quality.
I think he is. I mention him now. I'm thinking to myself, he would have been good for us at left back.
Yeah.
But I don't get why his name isn't mentioned around. When you hear England squads being named, who could be...
Well, there's a reason why. It's because he plays for Brentford, which is unfortunate. It shouldn't play a part, but it is. If he was at Arsenal, United, City, Chelsea, wherever, even Newcastle, they'd be talking about him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Right, so then it was West Ham versus Chelsea, Sunday. West Ham win 3-1. Khan. Talk us through it,
Well,
mate.
I mean, not even looking at that, like, we started off well, and I think overall the team played okay. We just conceded 3 stupid goals. You know, we weren't good defensively. The team looked a little disjointed. We were missing some of our key players, like Reece James, captain, and Kunku as well, who was our man during pre-season.
I don't get it, though, with the Reece James thing. We now know about his track record. He keeps getting constant with the hamstring injuries. I don't get why, in the summer, Chelsea didn't go out and sign another right back.
We did. Yeah, so that's who played. That's who played. So Malo Gusto is a French lad, and to be fair, he has looked decent.
Okay.
He has looked decent pre-season. He didn't even do too badly. Like I don't think against West Ham. It wasn't his fault really for the goals. So yeah, we have got the depth there. One question I asked, I want to know is why have they chosen to be captain with his injury records at the moment?
I thought it was weird when I saw Reece James becomes Chelsea captain.
But again, no, you look at that side, yes, you could give it to Silva, but obviously he's 38, 39 now.
Who would you give it to then?
That's what I mean.
I probably would have gave it to Silva for a year, and then...
Does he play every game?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Even though he's 39, nearly 40. But he's that good.
Is he?
Yeah, he's that good. I'd play him every game, and I'd give him captaincy. As many games as possible, anyway. I don't want to burn him
Not
out.
your keeper?
No, he's only been there 5 minutes.
Who is it?
Sanchez. Another Brighton
the
player.
Brighton keeper, isn't it? Kepa and Mendy are both gone.
Yeah.
Oh, have they?
Kepa's
I knew Mendy had gone.
Oh, I think Enzo
Oh, is
would
it?
be
I
a
didn't
shout.
know that.
Yeah, because obviously Courtois are out for the whole season.
Did not know
Kepa's,
He's the number one now.
So now somehow Kepa's now ended up as Madrid's number one, which is mad how football works.
I did not know that.
But
Okay.
yeah, I probably would have myself picked Enzo to be
Yeah.
captain. You know, he's young as well. He's going to play nearly every game. He doesn't really get injured.
Might be off penalties now, though.
Yeah, it might be off penalties, but yeah, I mean, overall, for Chelsea to spend near enough, like, was it $1 billion, over 800 millions in the last 3 windows, and for us to not have an out-and-out goal scorer, striker, recognised goal scorer, is shocking.
Still got Lukaku there.
Yeah,
don't
we
want to play
spoke.
for
Did
us.
we speak about that last week?
Yeah,
Obviously, I don't know if you know about what he done. You told me about this. So
I know he did that interview, didn't he? But
yeah.
no, it's more. He was having talks with Juventus before the Champions League final,
For Inter.
Inter Milan Champions League final.
So he's
not welcome back at Inter Milan, and he's not welcome back at Chelsea. So he's sort of, if you know more than I do.
So at the moment he's playing with under 21s. He hasn't spoken to Pochettino yet. Pochettino said he doesn't want him. Lukaku said he doesn't want to play for us. So it's just basically trying to work out how because he wants to go to Juve still. He's got terms agreed with them. We're just trying to work out the package to let him go to Juve.
Is that worth the deal if you get that for the half-inch then?
That's possibly part of the deal. Possibly.
What was going through his mind? You've just got into the Champions League final with Inter Milan.
The club he loves.
Yeah. Apparently.
Yeah.
And they loved him for all I knew. And then you go and speak to Juventus before the final.
Yeah.
What are you playing at?
Yeah. It's mad.
We didn't start the final, did he? So
they're probably because they knew what was going on.
Yeah.
That might be why. When you look at it now and we know this information, you're probably thinking, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Also, as well with Chelsea, you spent all that money, and I still don't get how Conor Gallagher's starting.
Conor Gallagher, I think he could be a good player. If you watched him against Liverpool, he done very well against Liverpool.
He's a workhorse.
Yeah.
He works hard.
But where you want to be, you're not going to get there with Conor Gallagher starting.
I agree.
Didn't Newcastle want him earlier on in the window?
You're not, but they're not spending £1 billion to be somewhere.
No.
That's the difference.
Yeah, I think we was always... Yeah, we were linked with him, but there was never anything concrete. And I think if we were looking for a deal, I think it was only for a loan deal anyway. I don't think we was looking for anything permanent.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Does he not play a similar role to that player you signed from Everton?
Who, Gordon?
Yeah.
No, Gordon's a winger, whereas Gallagher's a
centre mid.
Yeah, centre mid, isn't it?
Kind of box-to-box midfielder. But I think he fancies himself more as a 10, to be honest, behind a striker.
But then again, at the moment, you're playing a 3-4-3, aren't you? So that's not possible.
He is sort of, at the moment, filling in a role of being that holding midfielder.
Which he's not.
But, I mean, even doing that, I mean, he's been recovering the ball well against Liverpool when he played Liverpool.
So if you become Chelsea manager tonight and you could pick a starting 11 tomorrow, who would you pick?
Oh, great shout. So Sanchez in goal, Chilwell left back, Colwill and Silva centre backs, Gusto right back, Caicedo, Fernandes, two sixes. In the 10, Chukwuemeka. I'd put.
He scored that was a great goal, right? It was him that scored, wasn't it?
Yeah,
cutting.
Yeah. I'd put Mudryk on the left, Sterling on the right, and Jackson up front.
Okay.
But that would potentially change with
spent
injuries.
All that money, and that is still bang average.
It ain't a great 11, is it?
And you've just left that Reece James.
No, he's injured, isn't he?
Yeah, we're talking
fit. Okay,
yeah.
right,
and Kunku's injured. Brogue's injured because he'd probably...
I forget about Kunku. He scored... he scored the last couple of seasons. He scored 20 plus in the Bundesliga, weren't he?
Yeah.
Where does he? Is he out wide, or does he play through the middle?
He's a 10, yeah.
Oh, he's a 10. Okay,
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a loss in that.
Apparently, well, him and Jackson in pre-season, they had a really good partnership, and Jackson was getting some good.
It's still, when you look at teams and you see your Arsenals and your Cities, and they look like all the signings have been thought about, and the players that have been placed into them 11s, they've been thought about how they're going to fit in. But it still doesn't feel like with Chelsea. It just feels as if they're just hoping it.
But there's a reason for that. I think with Chelsea, most of that squad are new. Where with Arsenal, all of our players have been there at least a year.
Do you know how much say Poch had over the signings in the summer?
What do you mean? How much say he had?
Yeah, how much say he had in it?
I wouldn't have a clue.
Of all them, we won the Champions League, 3 years ago? Out of that lineup, I just said that I'd play tomorrow. Only 2 of them players played in that final. Were actually at the club 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think, add Reece James in, they're the only 3 players that we have left from that team that won the Champions League.
Is Azpilicueta gone?
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, he's gone.
He was
to
a great
Atletico.
captain.
Yeah.
Great captain.
And even then, was it Silva only lasted a few minutes?
So, going back to Matt's question, how much say do you think Poch had in signings in the summer?
Yeah, I reckon he had a big say this summer in signings. And I think our signings this summer have been good, to be honest with you. A lot of them have been young players, 23 and under. A lot of them aren't even in our team at the moment, but we've sent them out on loan to Strasbourg in France. They're like 18, 19-year-old Brazilians that we've signed.
One of them is ending up going to be a well beater, surely. That's what you hope for, anyway. As long as one of the 4, one of them comes good, you're all right with that, aren't you?
I think it's just such a young team that we signed, and as I say, a lot of them are new, so it will take time.
What's your expectation this year, Nick? So I think you won't finish in the top 4, but I think that's fine. I think you've got to trust Poch and trust. Obviously, there was on TalkSport, wasn't it? There was already saying Poch out.
Yeah, it's mad.
Which was like
after 2 games.
So where do you accept finishing this year?
With no more signings, I probably. If we can get top 6, we haven't got Champions League football.
I think that'd be a hell of an achievement.
Do you think?
Yeah.
See, I think it's only 2 games in. We drew against Liverpool. I mean, yes, we had a bad run against West Ham, but it's only 2 games into.
Have you got European football?
No,
that's
right. Okay, that will do you a favour.
Yeah,
maybe. I think 6th would be good.
But there's also talk. Obviously, we still want to put in a striker up top, and we still want another 10. To go in there as well. So them 2 players, whoever they are, they could potentially put us in that top 4 if we get a great.
I think Lukaku. I think we might mention this as well last week. It would be a good move for Tottenham.
Yeah, I think he's linked with them.
And he wouldn't have to move far. I'm guessing he lives in London.
I don't think he lives anywhere, mate. I think he lives whatever country I have him at the moment.
I think that'd be a good move for Tottenham.
I think what they're trying to build there with the way. I think that Postecoglou looks to play, which is high press. I don't think he'll fit into how they're looking to play with that press from the front, that high intensity. I think Richarlison probably not going to score you the goals, but at least you know he's going to be on the front foot. He's aggressive, he defends from the front.
Yeah.
So I don't see the way he's that Postecoglou's sort of signing, his sort of player.
Probably 6 months too late. For Lukaku, if Conte was still there, it'd be a match made, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
He'd probably just end up the Saudi, won't he? That's where all Chelsea players have ended up.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's 2 games we haven't spoken about. Another Sunday match, which was Villa versus Everton. Villa come away 4-0. We've just watched the highlights of that. Some good goals.
It's almost Jekyll and Hyde, isn't it? I mean, Villa looked. I was really fearful about Villa this year. I thought they might be the dark horses to finish in the top 4 because I thought the business they'd done in the summer, I've always rated that move to Diaby. You hope Watkins would carry on with his form. They got Tielemans on a free deal, and I thought they'd done some really good business. And the way they finished last season, they
have more points than City or drop less points than City?
Yeah, they were on absolute. I mean, we turned up their place when we was on a good run, and they just run all over us and played us off the park and beat us 3-0. And I thought with the signings that they've made, and obviously first game, I know it's only first game of season, but when I thought, I don't know who it's St James's, but I was like, I won't be too disappointed if we take just a point from this game. Obviously 5-1 was like, bloody hell, that's a bit too true. I was like, Jesus. But I think, so what I saw of them at the weekend, I think that was more of the Villa that I thought that I would see when they turned up at our place at St James's. I still think they've got a good manager in Emery. I think they'll be there or thereabouts this year. I think people are still sleeping on them just because of maybe the result of the first game of the season, which I do think, as much as I'm a Newcastle fan, I do think that was a bit of a fluke.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone was expecting Aston Villa to win that game, especially the way they won it.
Yeah,
I just don't think anyone was expecting that. Do you think it's a case of they're just going to do really well at home and struggle away?
I think they can go away to places and cause that. Well, I say that, but they've turned up to our place, but I think Emery will put it right. So I think they will be there or thereabouts come the end of this. I'll be surprised if they're not,
because Emery had a really bad away record with Arsenal.
Did he?
Yeah. So.
I don't really
and with Sevilla,
right?
I'm sure he won three. Yeah. He won 3 Europa Leagues in a row, didn't he?
Yeah.
In the Liga, I'm sure he only won. This is 3 or 4 away league games in 2 years, something like that. And then he brought that to Arsenal as well. I'm not saying it's going to happen at Villa, but it could be a case of Villa will be a tough place to go.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Could be right, but then again, like I said, it'll be hard to be if they can get the majority of the results at home, that will put them in the mix there or thereabouts at the end of the season. If they can pick up the odd win here and there away from home, I mean, I don't think they'll go to any of the big boys and go away and come away with all 3.
No,
but if they can go to the smaller clubs like your Burnleys, your Sheffield United, your Lutons, and
get
3 points from them,
and get draws away to Arsenal,
and get them places, then. Yeah, I think they're one of my dark horses this year. I still don't think my view changed from that first game of the season.
What's that, sorry?
Yeah, I still don't think that changed my view first game of the season. I think it just put more expectation on me on how good we were.
Yeah.
Where we might finish, more than actually taking away where Villa would.
One thing I wanted to touch on just quickly as you're going back to Newcastle there. We spoke about Chelsea's signings. Where do you think Newcastle need to strengthen next?
Left back. I mean, I still think we still need an X factor out wide. I think Barnes is good. He's solid.
I like Barnes.
Yeah. Almiron, he had that absolute golden streak during that course of the season, didn't he? Last season.
Hang on, what?
Well, that's Mitoma's going to go then, isn't it, Newcastle?
I mean,
imagine that.
I think out wide in that area, I think if you look at all the top clubs in the world, they've got that X factor from out wide, like Saka,
Madrid.
Obviously, Son on his day when he's at Spurs. I mean, so obviously you go outside, you've got Vinicius Junior. I think all them top clubs have the X factor from out wide. I think that would be the next stage we'll need to go. I think that's where we'll first go big.
You had Salah, Mane, didn't you? Sort of out wide.
Yeah, so...
Back in the day, it was Robben, Ribery,
like
Bale, Ronaldo played out wide. I know they're getting world-class players now. But yeah, you are right. So going on to the last game of the sort of weekend, Monday night football. It was obviously Arsenal versus Palace, away to Palace. Before going into this game, I wasn't confident. Reason being, I heard a stat that since Arteta has been Arsenal's manager, he has been in charge of 4 Monday night games, lost all 4, and 1 was to Palace going into that game. So I was thinking, oh no, here we go. We obviously won 1-0. I think, again, we always look comfortable, really. Yeah. I mean, we never... I can't remember the last game where we went there and we just got dominated, maybe City. But we looked all right. In the last 20 minutes, they upped it because they had to, because they were 1-0 down.
And you had 10 men as well, weren't you?
We went down to 10 men, which, I mean, I don't know how you feel about it. I don't know how you've seen it, but it's just not a red card. I know it's a double yellow. The first yellow was for the throw-in. Did you see it?
No.
Right, so it come from a goal kick, and it took 20 seconds to take the goal kick.
Right.
Which the ref visibly showed he was annoyed about. But he let the goal kick get taken, ended up going out for a throw. Havertz picked the ball up off the pitch, had it in his hands, looked to take the throw. He had the ball in his hands, I think, for 20 seconds. Threw it to Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu relatively threw it fast.
Yeah.
And as he threw it, the ref blew the whistle, booked him, even though he only had the ball for 8 seconds.
Right.
Tomiyasu.
Yeah.
But he got the booking.
Yeah, that's not right.
But I think it's a domino effect from the goal kick, then Havertz, and then unfortunately Tomiyasu's paid for it. And then the second yellow, it was one of them where the ball got played through along the floor past our back line. AU went to turn Tomiyasu, and normally, when a defender usually pulls the shirt to stop the attack, I think the ref thought Tomiyasu done that. If you watch it, Tomiyasu did not touch him.
So like an arm out, but not actually anything.
Didn't even put his arm out. Nothing. Okay. But it looked like, in quick time, it looked like it. But of course, because it's a double yellow, VAR can't turn it out. They can't get involved, even though it's a red card. It's because it's a second. It should never have been sent off, and it was frustrating to watch, to be honest. Rice played really well, which I'm happy about.
Surely as an Arsenal fan, and it's 1-0, it's not the result you're probably expecting, but like I say, if you go back 2 seasons ago, you probably don't come away with a 1-0 win when you're down to 10 men, do you?
No.
So when you, in hindsight, I think you look how far Arsenal have come 2 years ago, you don't win that game.
And Gary Neville made a good point, and you'll know as a manager, and I know, winning them games are better than winning 4 or 5-0. Coming away with that 1-0 win means so much.
Especially when you know your team aren't on it as well.
Yeah.
I think.
Like the players were celebrating so much just after a 1-0 win, and outsiders are probably looking at going, bloody hell, you've only beat Crystal Palace 1-0. Like, it's nothing big, but they're the wins that win you the league. I'm not going to say.
And I think the players, like I said, from a couple of years ago, who are still there, like the Odegaards, they'll know themselves that 2 years ago, they're not winning that game.
Yeah. So they've experienced a hurt in the past, I think. Yeah.
Also, what I do want to ask you about Arsenal, what's going on with Gabriel? He's not starting. He's been linked to go to Saudi. I know they've shut down them rumours, them links now. How comes he's not? Because now Ben White is now playing at centre back. Partey's playing at
an inverted
right back, and obviously you've got Gabriel finds himself out the side. So I don't know what's gone on.
I haven't got an answer, and I don't think any Arsenal fan, because I've looked on socials, I've seen them all reacting the way I'm thinking. Like, no one knows the idea behind it. It's two things. Either Arteta has got this idea in his head and it's working at the moment, or it's because he knew, if the rumours are true, that he's speaking to Saudi Arabia, and he's like, right, if you're talking to them, you're on the bench, because he started every game for ages.
Or could it potentially be that at the moment, obviously Partey's playing the inverted fullback, will that change when Zinchenko comes back? Then he'll play more as your inverted fullback, and then you'll move Partey back into midfield and slot Gabriel and White back into right back? Or will he look to play the same way with inverted fullbacks on both sides when Zinchenko comes back?
I honestly don't know. I don't like Zinchenko. I've made that clear. I just don't like him.
Tierney?
Sorry?
What are your thoughts on Tierney? So I know a lot of Arsenal fans a few years ago going, he's going to be the next captain of Arsenal.
You can ask anyone. Ask Toddy, right? Yeah. I've never been a huge fan of him since the day we signed him. But saying that, when we first signed him, he looked very promising. He looked like he could be the future captain solely due to his passion and all that. I went into the fact that he wears shorts in the freezing cold and all that, and fans love it. I don't buy all that. But I've always said I haven't seen him live up to that hype. Like, they were saying that he's better than Robertson, because they both play for Scotland. I heard people in Scotland, like Celtic fans, saying he's better than Robertson. They watch him for the country. Yeah. So I was really excited when we signed him, but I haven't seen anything from him that lives up to that hype yet.
Can't stay fit, which doesn't help.
No. But then stop wearing shorts in minus 20 and then moaning that you got a knee injury. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Wrap up warm, look after yourself. Yeah. That's how I see it.
Do you think it's an element of, I know what you said about the Scottish, watching him for the national team, but do you also think at the time when you signed Tierney, Arsenal weren't at the level they're at now?
No, and so Liverpool were flying as well.
He stood out more, perhaps.
We bought him.
How frustrating must that be, though? Being Scottish and your two best players are left backs.
Yeah.
You must just think, at least one of you be.
We bought him injured. He was injured for ages. Yeah. As when we bought him, and when we first signed him, he was injured. So, yeah, I'm not convinced. I wouldn't be too sad if he left, although now Timber's injured, I don't think we can afford to let him go.
Yeah.
Because I think he's
done his own. Do you reckon he'll go and sign again, or do you reckon...
We've apparently approached Madrid for Mendy. Paolo Mendy.
Yeah, Paolo Mendy.
And apparently Madrid are happy for him to go as well.
Right, okay.
How true that is, I don't know. I don't know much about it.
We were linked with him, and I was being told they were happy to let him go as well. Again, that's always just links and rumours.
Is he like their main left back? Is he? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he was playing quite regular. I know Kevin Vinga was playing left back, filling in there, but
he's not a left back.
No, he's not a left back, but he was filling in. But I'm guessing that goes to show if he's filling in at left back, how much faith they've got in that Mendy. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure he played quite regularly because obviously he coming after Marcelo left, didn't he?
Yeah, it was his Dan signing. Just over 50 mil, I think. And I think it's about 27 now. Right. Unless maybe Madrid have got a youngster lined up and they want to play more.
Yeah.
That's what I can think.
Right, so moving on from all the fixtures that we've just gone through, Greenwood, I've read that he can't play for United again. You reckon he can possibly? There's a possibility. I don't think we'll ever see him play for United again. What's your opinions on all that?
First of all, United have not handled it well.
Why?
I think, especially the way they've come out and said that they actually believe that he's not guilty, haven't they? And we've all seen the evidence. We've all seen the videos. We've all heard the recordings. I don't know how you can come out and make a statement like that. I just can't. And also, they've said he'll probably never play for this club again. So they actually haven't ruled out that he might not play. It's not as if they've ripped up his contract or anything like that. They've just stated at this current time, I'm pretty sure they've said that at this current time he won't play for the club.
And they're working on what's best for his...
I know it's a different situation, but look how quick Ronaldo was out after that interview. Greenwood's still there now. Do you know what I mean? I think ultimately what they're doing is they're putting feelers out now that, okay, well, we don't think he's guilty, blah, 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 blah. I honestly think if he doesn't leave on a permanent transfer this summer and he goes out on loan, he'll come back next season. And
if you loan him out, that shows you've got no intent of selling.
Yeah.
Really.
But I think it's a little different though with the Greenwood situation because I guess you couldn't just rip up his... Because you've still got to wait whether the verdict comes out if he's guilty or not guilty. Like, if he's guilty, then it'll be against the contract. You can just rip it up. If you rip up his contract, the verdict's not guilty. I don't know how big the payoff will be off the remaining bit of his contract. They're probably not wanting to pay that off as well. They'd much rather
see his contract
out, get him out on loan, so they don't have to obviously worry about paying him out of his contract as well. So I think that's where they've been a bit. I said I think what they should have done is bit the bullet for football and just ripped up his contract and paid him off.
Yeah,
and that would have proved a point to everyone that that's how we dealt with the situation. We're not tolerating it here. And I think that's what they should have done.
Because he's still with the girl and she's pregnant. If not, probably had the baby now, hasn't she? She must be heavily pregnant if she hasn't.
I bet her parents are proud.
And but like a United fan said on Fast when he was on the podcast, he said that we've only seen a 10-second clip of that thing.
Yeah.
She's only released what she wanted you to hear. It might not be how it sounded. Yeah. I know when you hear that, it sounds absolutely brutal.
It could be taken out of context.
It can be. Yeah. Little things like that. Yeah. You've seen it before. I'm not saying it has been, but it could have been. And United might have seen the whole clip and they might think it's not what it sounds. The public haven't got a clue what's going on.
But then do United need to come out and say that they have seen...
Yeah, if they have, come out and say that. Unless they're not allowed, because is it still a police matter?
Unless they haven't seen the full clip and what's actually going on, because unfortunately, football's football, but it's also a business, and Greenwood is an asset.
Yeah.
Potentially before this happened, he was worth what?
He was the up-and-coming star, wasn't he?
50, 60 million quid. It's not worth that now, but if they, from a business perspective, if they can get some of that back, then they'll try and do that.
And that's probably all they're thinking about, really.
Yeah. That's probably why they haven't ripped up his contract.
I don't think he'll ever play for England, ever.
No,
because I think that way, because as soon as he's named, that will just get...
Yeah.
So, there are his chances gone playing for England.
Has he ever played before for England?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has, I don't know if he's got a chance to switch his nationality.
I don't know, that's what I was thinking. That might be something to try to do. Because even Benzema, when he was out of the France team, because of that blackmail case, he was actually going to switch his nationality to Algeria. That was after, I
thought there was an order in place, though, where actually you can only switch your nationalities, that if you've played a competitive international game, you're not allowed then to switch your nationality. But if you've played friendlies, you can still switch. I think that's what Diego Costa did, didn't he?
Declan Rice, Jack Grealish.
Yeah, there was all that under 21s. I'm pretty sure it was Diego Costa. He'd played a few times for the Brazilian national side, but because they weren't competitive games, they were just friendlies, he was still able to switch his allegiance to Spain. A bit like Laporte.
Yeah.
French, isn't he? He never played competitive fixture, and now he's.
Was there a French centre back as well? A really good French centre back that done that.
But Laporte.
Yeah, Laporte.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Right.
Laporte,
I didn't realise it was France.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Remembering the situation around the Benzema case, because he has played competitively for France at that point, but it was his basis of making a change was that he's never going to be picked for France again. So why should his international career stop? So he should be allowed to switch to another country.
That's a good point.
So maybe Greenwood might go down that route potentially.
So moving on from that, Man City had an 80 million move for Paqueta stopped due to his betting investigation. Obviously, I read about it earlier. The allegation is a larger than usual number of bets were placed in Brazil on Paqueta receiving a yellow card in West Ham's game versus Aston Villa back in March, which of course he did get a booking for. What do you think when you hear about players doing this? What goes through your head?
Do they not earn enough money?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Oh, it's ludicrous, isn't it?
Do you believe it?
I mean, a lot of footballers aren't the brightest of people, are they? They probably think they can get away with it.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't shock me. I mean, we've seen much worse things, haven't we? So it wouldn't shock me at all. I mean, if he has done that, I mean, it's just... Well, imagine that you're just about on the brink of getting an £80 million move to Man City after actually having quite an average season for West Ham. You know, and then next thing you know, you're about to sign an £80 million deal for Man City. So, I mean, to even do something as stupid as that to jeopardise it, it's just because eventually all these things do come out.
Yeah,
it's very hard to keep these things quiet. So I don't even know why you'd even bother risking it.
It'd be interesting to see how large that number is of the amount of bets that was put on him having a yellow in that particular game. Because if it is,
do we know if he was going to get it in the first half, in the second half, or was it just a yellow?
Just a yellow, I think.
I think it was something like the 41st minute or something stupid like that. Yeah.
Was it what?
Yeah.
In a particular minute?
Yeah,
there's no way he's done that. Or must be in between the 40th and 45th or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine the 41st minute, he realised he's about 50 yards away from play. You all see him do a 50-yard sprint and puts in...
Yeah.
And we all know he's not that type of player anyway, is he? So, I mean, that would be absolutely ridiculous. But...
Who else has done that in the past betting? Obviously, Tony is recent, Trippier, Joey Barton.
Potentially, yeah.
I'm sure Joey Barton done a lot more than anyone.
Could you imagine if Paul Merson was in this day and age? He'd be fucked.
Yeah. What are you looking for, Khan?
There's something I saw about the Paqueta, the actual game in the bet it was on.
Yeah, it was versus Aston Villa in March.
Yeah.
So I still need to watch that. Can't remember whose podcast it is. Tony's come out and spoke all about it, hasn't he?
Yeah, I saw that today. I haven't listened to it.
Yeah, I need to listen to it. But he's come out. He's come out. He's owned it, but he's played down a bit of it as well, though, hasn't he? By the looks of things. So
yeah. Right, we're going to go on to our segment for our Dream Team League now, and then we're going to wrap the podcast up. Odegaardium Leviosa is still top after last week as well. That's Kieran Lawley. Tyler Mate second. Arsenal FC third. Jordan Wise up in fourth. What do you think about that, Matt?
A Spurs fan that knows his football. Shocking. I don't think I've ever heard of anything like it in my life.
6 footballers are in 5th, so let's go down to the bottom 17th. Where are you, Khan? You've still got Kane in your team, though.
Yeah, I've taken that now.
What's your team name? Muller? No,
Real Mad Dog.
Real Mad Dog. You're not doing bad. Oh, you're 29th.
Yeah, well, it'll be right now. But
34. Chichester United is bottom. Kitty Baby, Hotel Tiago in the bottom 3 as well. So who's top?
Probably not best.
Kieran Lawley's top with 172 points. And then bottom has only got 44 points of difference. It's unbelievable.
Who have they picked to have 44 points?
I can't. The thing is, I don't think you can't look at their teams anymore.
I think this is why I prefer the Premier League.
Yeah, but you used to be able to.
Yeah.
You always used to be able to look at their team. Love it up the Arsenal FC in 28th. Trying to find some funny team names.
I don't think my one's probably
Muller Rice.
what I've called mine.
What have you called yours?
Arsehole Cancer FC.
Arsehole Cancer FC. That's fair enough. It's sort of fitting for you. Yeah, that's it really. Everyone else just floating about mid-table. So
there was something I wanted to talk about as well, but I just can't find what it was now. It's essentially the Saudi Pro League with the amount of attackers they've got. We touched on it last week, where they've now got Benzema, they've got Ronaldo, they've got Neymar, they've got Mane, they've got Mahrez.
I'll say one of the front threes. It's what is it? It's Mahrez, Maximan, and Firmino.
Yeah. You'd say you didn't even mention Maximan and Firmino just then.
But they're all
Mahrez.
all in like that Saudi Pro League. If you had to pick a front three out of the whole league, who would you have?
Benzema.
But then are you asking that could come into the Premier League and do the job?
Or say for example,
who's the best front three out of that? Basically,
yeah, like if you was going to put all them players into one team or into one squad, who's your front three?
Ronaldo, Benzema, probably Mane.
I wouldn't have Ronaldo.
So I'd miss out Mahrez and Neymar.
I'd have Mahrez over Ronaldo now.
Oh, now, okay.
Obviously not in career, but right now I'd have Mahrez on the right,
Hmm.
Benzema in the middle, and probably Mane on the left.
Yeah. So you're both missing out Neymar.
I don't like Neymar. Really? Never have done. Hate him.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have Mane because if you put Neymar in the Premier League when Mane was there, I don't think Neymar does.
I can't stand him.
Depends what team he's in though. Again, doesn't it? If Neymar was in the City team,
yeah.
Imagine the amount of goals you'd get on that left-hand side.
I got that opinion on him, and it won't change.
Yeah, I'm quite biased. I wouldn't have him.
I can't stand him as a person as well. He shags his sister. He's always injured for her birthday, isn't he? Yeah. Every single year. Have you seen the? Yeah. Did I read out his
injury record?
No, his what he gets for moving to his club.
Oh bloody hell! I've seen bits of it, like was it Bugatti or something like that?
It was like 3 different cars.
3 different cars. Yeah. Members his own private jet, wasn't it?
25 bedroom house, is it?
Aren't they getting something like 500 grand per social media?
There's already talks now as well.
500 grand per social media post that promotes Saudi Arabia.
I think there's rumours now that they're saying that I think in the next couple of years that whoever wins the Saudi League will be welcome to the Champions League.
Yes, I know they were talking about it.
I can see that happening. Just the amount of money, and I mean that will make going to the Saudi Pro League that little bit more enticing because you've got Champions League football.
It's essentially just replacing the Super League, where all the players are going to want to go to Saudi.
Yeah.
Nice weather, loads of money.
Because that is probably putting a lot of players off. No Champions League.
Yeah.
So that will just make it even easier for them to
go. I mean, there's only one spot that's quiet, but if there's that chance...
Yeah,
but it just makes you mad how much money there is in Saudi. And I say, I moan about how the Saudis are controlling football at the moment and what it's looking like. Because when I saw like your Benzemas and your Ronaldos going out there, I wasn't too bothered because, they're 35, 36, 37.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at players going out sort of
Mahrez,
in their peaks and stuff, you begin to think that is a bit of a threat.
One of the weirdest ones for me was Mendy, the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
That was weird. I just did not expect him to go out there.
No, well, 3 years ago, he was FIFA's best goalkeeper, wasn't he? In the world.
And now he's gone Saudi.
I think Matt's just a bit upset that he got Trippier and they got Neymar. That's what it is.
Take Trippier all day.
Probably done better for you than Neymar.
I mean, I know it sounds people think, chatting shit or whatever, but at that moment in time, when we signed Trippier's a better signing than Neymar.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I agree. That's what I've just said.
Because there's no point having Neymar when your midfield is Sean Longstaff and you've got Sean Longstaff feeding Neymar and then he's playing off Chris fucking Wood. I mean, you're not going to get a lot from Neymar. So
that's what City did with Robinho, isn't it, essentially?
Chucked him in, crack on.
But yeah, it's like putting Neymar and he's got fucking Sean Longstaff fucking whizzing the ball at his fucking knee high and he's thinking,
what am I doing?
He's playing on flick downs from Chris Wood. I mean, it's not realistic, is it? He's not going to do anything in that side, is it? So, people actually think that people that actually understand football would actually agree that Trippier is a better signing than Neymar.
This goes back, it is sort of similar, I suppose. There was an argument, we signed Ben White and United signed Varane. And I said, Ben White's a better signing. 100%. Don't get me wrong, Varane was 10 times the player. Like, his career speaks for itself. But for Arsenal at that time, that Ben White signing was a better signing than Varane for United.
Oh yeah, of course. There's more to it than just.
Varane can't stay fit anymore, does he? I think you get about 20 games out, half a season out of him, don't you?
Yeah.
So
that alone for me isn't enough.
Yeah, and I think people don't. When you make signings, you've got to realise the realism and sort of like how they're going to fit into your team. Do they? Whereas people just look at the name and think, "Oh fuck me."
No, I was only joking.
No, you're not joking. But I just now can't help but picture Neymar at Newcastle playing alongside Chris Wood, and it's just.
It's the fact that the Saudis brought Newcastle Chris Wood to start with, and then they went and brought Al Hilal, wherever it is, Neymar.
How did you feel when they bought Saint Maximin, whatever his name is?
I wasn't too fast.
Really?
I saw a lot of fans on Twitter kicking off about St Maximin.
How much did they pay for him?
25 mil.
I thought you could have done a bit more.
I think it was Harvey Barnes. Yeah, but that's because a lot of Premier League clubs were kicking off that we was going to oversell St Maximin to Saudi because obviously with the price, so we had to sell them at a cheaper fee to keep Premier League clubs happy that we're not overpricing our players out to Saudi Arabia.
Really?
So we got done out of that, because clubs, even though all the other clubs in the Premier League are shipping off all their players off to Saudi.
Yeah.
As soon as
all the other clubs,
Chelsea,
but they went for peanuts essentially for what they.
Yeah, and it's more for your wage bill. But you look at just the pure. Yes, Maximin looks great, but his end product isn't there.
No, it isn't, is it? He gets you to the edge of the box, and then he freezes almost.
Yeah, I mean, if you put it in the context, Harvey Barnes scored 13 Premier League goals last year in a relegated Leicester side. In 4 seasons in the Premier League, St Maximin scored 11 goals.
Yeah.
If you put it in a nutshell there, it's a massive upgrade. Yes, Maximin looks great, on his day, but it's the end product. And plus as well, he can only do about 25 games a season. He's normally always injured.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as St Maximin, he must be pretty pissed as well because he signed for us when Steve Bruce is in charge. So he's had to go through that absolute shit show of football with. I don't even want to go through that slide which we had. It's just depressing. But he must be thinking, so when Newcastle on the up, I've gone through all that and I'm gone.
Xhaka's done that for us though. Xhaka got us through our toughest years, and I love Xhaka, and I was sad to see him go. And I wish
you always love him though.
Not when he flipped you off, surely.
Didn't bother me. I was at that game. Everyone just started booing. I was actually talking to the person next to me. I don't know who he was, but I was talking to him. And all of a sudden, the stadium just started booing. And I went, what are they booing at? And he went, Xhaka. I went, why? And at the time, because it was live, obviously I know now it's because he was walking off slowly. I thought, he hasn't even had a bad game. Like, he's had worse games than this and we haven't booed him. But even after that, I've never hated him. I don't think Arsenal fans appreciated him enough. When he didn't play, we were terrible. Like, you noticed when he was not in that team. We were bad with him, but we were very, very, very bad without him. Right. And he got us through our toughest period. And I'd be happy if he signed a contract with us this year. I'd have been well happy. I was sad to see him go.
Would have been good to have that depth in there, wouldn't it?
And he's one of them that got us through that tough bit, and now we're flying, he's gone. But that happens in football, unfortunately. Yeah. Right, gonna call it.
Yep.
Call it a night. Well, thanks for coming on, Matt.
No worries.
Pleasure. Good luck for your season.